I was never a person who had normal dreams. Usually they are pretty strange, and most of them were action and adventure, mixed up with lots of things that I did in the day or the past few days. Never have I had a dream in which I felt dread in my spine, or that crippling fear in which it's usually described in most of the creepy stories. Enough about that, let me introduce myself. I spend most of my days listening to creepypastas while playing video games. Most of them are about action, combat, and adventure. Usually there is gore or dismemberment and blood. That never affected me much since, it's a video game. It's not real. Your brain knows when it's real or not. Despite the graphics being that good, about the creepypastas, they are very mild at best for me. When I started to listen to creepypastas on YouTube, they were about the paranormal, spirits, and such. And they were mostly from Japan, so I got pretty spooked and excited to listen to some more. Looking on the web, I started to realize that American ones are from stalkers, weird people, murders, rapists, and home invaders. That might be scary for whom they are happening, but since I am a black belt in judo, I tend to not fear others despite the fact that I know I cannot win everybody. But they are people. People can get hurt and killed pretty easy. So I listen just for the story. But since you are here, let's talk about my weird dream that I had today. Before you can understand a little about my dream, I didn't have much opportunities having sex with the opposite gender. So it's a bit rare but not uncommon of me to dream about having sex with a girl. Today was no different. I was dating a gorgeous Japanese girl, and we went to a crowded mixed restroom to have sex. Don't ask. I don't know how my dreams work either. After some time there, I asked her if we could go to a more private place. She said she had one in her house, and so we went there together. The creepy factor started there. The house was really old and dilapidated, as if nobody lived there or didn't care about the place for a long time. She went to the backyard of the house with me and said they had a subterranean room where her sister died. She had to pump water for the room because it was flooded. As she started pumping the water from the hole, her dad came up and started to tell me how the room was. The bed was attached to the wall because of her sister's fits. I asked him what kind of fits, and he said she would usually move uncontrollably on her own, as if having a seizure while screaming, so they have to pin her to the wall with the bed. While he was telling me that, I started to feel a chill down my spine, that crippling fear that killed all my horniness right on the spot. No way I could have sex in a haunted place like this. I don't know how many feet below the surface where a girl apparently possessed died. As I was summoning my courage to talk to my date, her dad said he thought it was okay and entered the black staircase near the pump. That place was dark, lacking any kind of light. I didn't want to go down there, but her dad went without hesitation. While he was going down, he was describing how the place was until we couldn't hear his voice anymore. Right after that, I felt my stomach drop and got very nauseated. Something was not right here. They were waking up something that shouldn't be awoken. For some inexplicable reason, my mom showed up and went in the same place the guy went, doing the same thing that he did. But her voice suddenly stopped, and right after that, the guy's body and my mother's body burst through the pump hole. They were bloody and dismembered, as if hacked into pieces, as easy as you could cut a juicy, tender piece of meat with a sharp blade. I felt a deep sorrow for my mother and started crying like a baby. My legs couldn't support my weight. I didn't have enough strength to go on because of my mother. Weirdly, I mustered some courage. And as I was looking back, my date was also in the same state. Looking in front of me again, found a pile of bodies in the same way. I felt an unnerving panic with dread. I had to get out of this place or I would be next. Who knows who this invisible threat was? Maybe her sister's spirit who had made a pile of bodies as easily as you make a pile of meat? I sprinted away from the house, but the gates were locked, and for some odd reason, I was pushed back into the room inside the house with the door locked. I was in fight or flight response. I didn't care about anything. I knocked down the door and was in some kind of living room. Of course, the other door was locked. I have to break the window glass to get out, cut my hand on some shards but managed to break free. Sprinted away until my lungs burned, and after that I was awoken by my parents, saying that a family member, who was young, I dare say, just died of a heart attack. Never in my life have I had this kind of horror dream. A chill went down my spine as I was recounting what happened to them. Who knew what would have happened to me if I'd have stayed in that creepy place? Guess I just had my paranormal story that I always wanted.